Part 4, Chapter 45 of Short History of the Christian Church by John Fletcher Hurst. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Chapter 45, The Temperance Reform. The first great movement in Europe towards abstinence from the use of intoxicating liquors was made by Theobald Matthew, a Roman Catholic priest of Cork. He bore the name of Father Matthew, and travelled extensively throughout the British Islands. His method was to secure pledges for total abstinence, and multitudes flocked to his standard. His style of oratory and pleasing address were of irresistible influence over his auditors. So keen a critic as Mrs. Jane Welsh Carlyle was fascinated by his appeal and signed his pledge. His work has been taken up by others. In Scotland, John Dunlop of Greenock formed the first Temperance Society, 1829, and Mr. William Collins greatly helped the movement. In the north of Ireland, about the same time, the Rev. Dr. Edgar and the Rev. Dr. Cook threw their influence with all their might into the good work. John B. Gough greatly helped the reform in the old country as well as in America. Dr. Frederick R. Lees has also done yeoman's service in the English battle. Cardinal Manning exerted in his later years a vast influence in Great Britain. Canon Farrar is a strong advocate for the same great cause. Within the last 25 years such has been the progress of temperance that much of the grossness and public drunkenness have disappeared from the British Islands. The introduction of coffee-houses and of cheap and clean lodging-places has been very helpful in furnishing some approach to a substitute for the all-devouring saloon. Restrictive measures have been multiplying in various continental countries. Switzerland has been a leader in this respect. In Germany, associations have been organized in behalf of the temperance cause. In Scandinavia, the most progress has been made. Norway and Sweden have been overspread with a network of temperance associations. Special meetings are held to promote the movement, while journals are established in the same interest. The great need now is, throughout Europe, to distribute intelligence concerning the physical ruin wrought by alcoholic drinks. One long-lived fancy has already been exploded, that the European liquors are pure. In the art of introducing poisonous ingredients, the European makers of beer and the owners of vineyards are masters to a high degree. The progress of the temperance cause is well illustrated by the habits of the clergy. In the last century drunken ministers were by no means uncommon, but today such a sight would cause a sensation. Very many of the clergy are total abstainers, and where this is not the case, a sound sentiment prevents any public scandal. Even such a beautiful character as Addison was not free from the vice of intemperance, but it would be hard to find a literary man in England now, much less a moralist, given to hard drinking. Sir Wilfrid Lawson's resolution favoring local option was passed in the British Parliament, April 27th, 1883, by a majority of 87, 263 votes for, 176 against, but no English ministry has ever yet dared to submit any legislation looking to a restriction of the liquor traffic. End of chapter 45.